Did you know that thousands of Americans retire at 62 every single year, full of excitement and hope, only to open their mailbox a few months later and find that Social Security has quietly taken back a big chunk of their hard-earned money? If you're thinking about retiring at 62, or if someone you love is planning to, please stay right here, because what I'm about to share could save you thousands of dollars and years of financial stress. I'm so glad you found this video today, and I promise it's going to be worth every minute. If you find this helpful, and I truly believe you will, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe so you never miss these important updates, and drop a comment below telling me your retirement age plan. Now, let's dive in. So let's talk about something that very few financial advisors will sit down and explain to you in plain, simple English, and honestly, that's a shame, because this affects millions of real people just like you. The rule we're talking about today is called the Social Security Earnings Test, and if you've never heard of it, you are absolutely not alone. Most people haven't. And that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. Here's how it usually plays out. Imagine someone, let's call her Margaret. Margaret worked hard her whole life, raised a family, contributed to her community, and finally, at 62, decided she had earned the right to slow down. She started collecting her Social Security benefits and picked up a part-time job at a local garden center because she loved the work and wanted a little extra income. Sounds perfectly reasonable, right? But then, a few months later, Margaret got a letter from the Social Security Administration telling her that because she had earned too much money while collecting early benefits, they were going to withhold a significant portion of her monthly payments. Margaret was stunned. She had no idea this was even possible. This is the earnings test, and it catches people completely off guard every single year. Here is how it works in plain language. If you decide to claim Social Security benefits before reaching your full retirement age, which, for most people today, is somewhere between 66 and 67 depending on the year you were born, and you continue working, the Social Security Administration places a strict limit on how much you can earn before they start pulling money back. For every $2 you earn above that annual limit, they withhold $1 of your Social Security benefits. It's known as the 2-for-1 reduction, and it can add up shockingly fast. Now, what is that limit exactly? For 2025, the threshold sits at $23,400 per year. So if you're working part-time and earning, say, $35,000 a year, you're $11,600 over the limit. That means the SSA would withhold $5,800 in benefits from you that year. That's nearly $500 a month simply vanishing, money you were counting on, money you planned your budget around. And for someone living on a fixed income, that's not just an inconvenience. That can genuinely disrupt your life. Now, here is the part that most people miss, and I really want you to hear this clearly because it brings both relief and an important caution. The money that gets withheld is not permanently lost. Once you reach your full retirement age, the Social Security Administration goes back and recalculates your monthly benefit upward, essentially giving you credit for all those months when benefits were withheld. So in the long run, you do get it back. But, and this is a big but, it comes back slowly, spread out over many years. If you're counting on that income right now, in your early 60s, that delayed repayment doesn't help you pay next month's electric bill or cover your grocery run. There is also something called the grace year, which is a little-known provision that softens the blow slightly. In the calendar year that you actually reach your full retirement age, the rules change. During that specific year, the penalty drops to $1 withheld for every $3 earned above a much higher threshold. In 2025, that higher limit was $62,160. So if you're in that transition year, you have significantly more breathing room. But before that year, the stricter 2-for-1 rule fully applies, and most people simply aren't aware of where they stand. But the earnings test is just the beginning of the conversation, because retiring at 62 comes with several other trade-offs that are not temporary, they are permanent. And this is where we really need to slow down and think carefully together. Let's start with what many financial planners call the 30% benefit haircut. When you claim Social Security at 62, you are accepting a permanently reduced monthly benefit. Compared to waiting until your full retirement age of 67, you could receive up to 30% less every single month for the rest of your life. Think about what that means over time. If your full benefit would have been $2,000 a month, claiming at 62 might give you closer to $1,400. That $600 monthly difference, compounded over 20 or 25 years of retirement, can add up to well over $100,000. That is not a small number. That is a life-changing number for most families. Then there is the Medicare gap, a challenge that catches a surprising number of early retirees completely off guard. Medicare, the federal health insurance program most seniors rely on, doesn't begin until age 65. So if you retire at 62, you face a 3-year window where you are entirely responsible for your own health insurance. You might qualify for COBRA coverage through your former employer, but COBRA is notoriously expensive, often $500, $700, even over $1,000 a month for an individual, depending on the plan. Alternatively, you might explore options through the ACA marketplace, but again, the costs can be significant, especially if you don't qualify for subsidies. 3 years of private health insurance premiums can easily cost you $20,000 to $40,000 or more out of pocket. That's money that could have been growing in your savings or investment accounts. Now, if you are married, and especially if you are the higher earner in the household, there's another dimension to this decision that is deeply important and often emotionally difficult to think about. When you claim Social Security early, you also lock in a lower survivor benefit for your spouse. A survivor benefit is what your husband or wife would receive from Social Security if you pass away first. If you claimed early and received a reduced benefit during your lifetime, your spouse's survivor benefit will also be based on that reduced amount. For many couples, especially those where one partner earns significantly more than the other, the survivor benefit is a critical financial lifeline. Locking in a lower amount at 62 can have a lasting and meaningful impact on your spouse's financial security for years, or decades, after you're gone. And let's not overlook one more quiet but steady consequence of claiming early: smaller cost of living adjustments, or COLAs. Every year, the Social Security Administration adjusts benefits upward to account for inflation. In recent years, those COLAs have actually been quite significant. In 2023, retirees saw an 8.7% increase, one of the largest in decades. But here's the thing, that percentage is applied to your base benefit amount. If your base is lower because you claimed early, then even a generous COLA translates to fewer actual dollars in your pocket each month. Over 20 years of retirement, even small annual differences in your COLA dollar amount can accumulate into tens of thousands of dollars in lost purchasing power. Now, none of this means that retiring at 62 is always the wrong choice. For some people, those dealing with health challenges, physically demanding jobs, or caregiving responsibilities, retiring early is absolutely the right and necessary decision. Life is not one size fits all, and your circumstances are uniquely your own. What matters is that you make this decision with your eyes fully open, with a complete understanding of what early retirement means financially, not just today, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and beyond. The real danger is not in retiring at 62, it's in retiring at 62 without understanding what you're agreeing to. Because once you start collecting benefits, many of these consequences become permanent and irreversible. You can't go back and unring that bell. This is why knowledge, real and honest knowledge, is the most powerful tool you have right now. There's an old saying that resonates deeply here: it's not just about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep, and how long it lasts. The decisions you make in the few years surrounding retirement can shape your financial reality for literally the rest of your life. And you deserve to make those decisions from a place of confidence and clarity, not confusion or regret. Coming up next, we're going to talk about some of the smartest strategies people are using to navigate this decision, including how to time your benefits in a way that protects your monthly income, your spouse, and your long-term financial peace of mind. Trust me, you don't want to step away before we get there.